of the NBA.
We look at these stats from the first half. If you're a Wizards fan, you might want to not look at the stats from the first half. Or 17 from 3. You got to really shoot the lights out to cut this gap, Coach, and not turn the ball over. And neither of those things happened well for the first half of the Wizards.
No, and the Lakers dominated in the paint at both ends. I mean, look, if the Lakers come to play, which they did tonight, it's going to be hard for Washington to have a chance.
As a player, can you not overeat on Thanksgiving? This is really the most important question of the night.
You're not overeating?
Yeah, because you got to play the next day.
Yeah,
like,
it is
standing,
hard.
I can't move. Like right
and
now.
It's hard. And I think it's definitely hard when you're on a road team and you're a team that's obviously going into the game, minus whatever with the Lakers, and you having Thanksgiving on the road or you're traveling a lot, and to go in and have to play a Lakers game. You saw the Lakers seem like they had a lot of Thanksgiving turkey for about the first 5 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
And then they started to run.
All of a sudden,
ran it out, man.
Burn right off.
They burned right off.
Somebody's riding a bike in the back. I just want to build an excuse for DC. Although, for the other LA team, for the Clippers, we saw not an easy night. The Spurs end up getting a win. And that's the consistency, right? Long NBA season, especially load management, the defense up and down, in and out of lineups. Tough to really stay consistent.
Yeah, these guys haven't played together that much. It's the first time they got beaten with those two guys in there together, but they haven't been together a whole lot. And so now you hit an adverse situation on the road. And
10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. The league's fourth leading scorer, Bradley Beal, putting up sensational numbers. Wizards have one of the best offenses in basketball, and they're going to take on the Lakers.
yeah, look, I mean, they move the ball. They play with great pace and energy. And Brad Beal has been doing everything for them, not only scoring, assisting, everything else.
You did coach speak earlier in our pregame and showed how the Lakers' defense has been really good, but Bradley Beal can really challenge that perimeter defense tonight.
No question. Bradley Beal can challenge it, and the way the Wizards play can challenge it, because you're not going to see any isolation. You're going to have to contend with a lot of ball movement and a lot of player movement. Hard to do.
All right, Lakers looking for a 10th straight win. That's coming up next on NBA TV. Just saw the Thunder beat the Pelicans, but now, all right, we'll show you the finish there after Trae Young just scored to give him 41 and tie the game. Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, the big fellas, they're hyped. They just found a good Black Friday sale. Is that what it was, Coach Van Gundy?
No, I think they're excited to try to get the 10th win in a row.
Wow. Isn't it amazing? Sekou, you were talking about this earlier. With all the great Lakeland teams, in the history, they've had some of the great individual teams we've ever seen in the history of the game. This is the best start this franchise has ever gotten off to.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have believed it until I saw it. You would just assume that there would have been a Lakers team at some other stretch that had some unbelievable start, but it speaks to the change in direction they had this summer when they really decided, all right, we got Anthony Davis, we're getting ready to try and steer this thing in a different direction. This is the kind of start you need if you're Frank Vogel, if you're serious about winning a championship. To me, Coach, I think back to that Boston team, with the big three Celtics with KG and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. It started in training camp. They went on to win 66 games and won a championship. It wasn't smooth sailing all the way through. Had some tough playoff series, but it's something about setting that tone early in the year that propels you, to me.
9 p.m. Eastern on NBA TV.
My plan always has been about family oriented. I want this to be a family culture where we all feel we can lean on each other outside of basketball, not only on the basketball court, but outside of basketball. Just wanted us to have fun. It's so easy, especially for me. I know throughout my career, games is not fun anymore. And we've got to learn how to have fun. So I want to make sure that we continue to have fun no matter what we go through the ups and downs, that we have fun and we lean on each other as a family, because we're the only ones we got at the end of the day.
It is Friday, which means the latest Kia MVP ladder has been released on NBA.com. And the man to send your hate mail to is here with us, Sekou Smith. We're going to reveal 5 through 1 this week, but cracking into the top 10 for the first time is Karl Anthony Towns, who you had an opportunity to catch up with, where he's really trying to change the culture. And, we hear that a lot. Sounds like it's just, talk. Is it more than that you find for Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota?
I think it is, Jared, and I think it's one of those things where you're looking for a player to evolve over the early portion of his career. Karl Anthony Towns has always been somebody else's second guy up until basically the last year and a half. Jimmy Butler got out of there, and Karl Anthony Towns took some ownership of that team and decided if he's going to wear it, he's going to have to go in there and dig in and create the culture they're trying to establish in Minnesota.
All right, so Towns is in at number 10. I didn't want to do any spying early on and see what your list was. So I'm seeing this at home with the world for the first time. Are you ready to reveal this week's list?
Yeah, what do you mean you didn't do anything?
I hope there's some changes on this. I've got some demands. I don't know if you've met them.
You like to nitpick, right?
Well, it's just education.
Well, hello. Look,
Here we go. Here's number 5.
Here we go. We got
on
it for you.
this
Number
list.
5, I know there are a lot of people in Houston going to be upset.
Whoa.
But James Harden, the Beard's playing great. He only dropped one spot. Calm yourself.
Which means you had to open up a spot for Pascal Siakam. He's got to be on here.
Anyway, the Beard playing great. Houston playing really well. But this is the 5 guys who are having the best seasons in the league right now. And it's a fluid list. James Harden has been in the mix where he belongs. Just a little shuffle.
All right, so if Harden drops from 4 to 5, that means you put Siakam into the top 5 and he's at number 4.
Wrong. But you've been wrong before. Luka Doncic had a really wicked stretch of games, right? I'm talking going at people, 30 and 10, triple doubles, the whole 9 yards, and then he ran into the Los Angeles Clippers. The one team in the league, Jared, that has an assortment of defenders, not just one, maybe 4 or 5 different guys you can put on him and limit his effectiveness. He played well, but not to the standard he built up prior to this week. So it's just a little shift for him as well. Another slight dip on the ladder for Luka Doncic.
All right, so Harden and Doncic both drop 1 spot. Do we have a newcomer to the top 5? Here's number 3.
We do. Get your passport out. It's not Pascal Siakam. It's Kemba Walker.
Wow.
Did you see him the other night?
39 points against the Nets.
In the Kyrie Irving return game, Kemba steals the show, Jared. He's having a fabulous season. The Celtics look like a new team. It's not that it's all because of Kemba, but it's happening with Kemba in the control. And to me, you credit him for not only integrating himself the way he has in that team, but lifting everybody else's game up to another level.
Wow, and what's interesting about you putting Kemba in the top 5 is all these other guys, and I'm going to safely assume that LeBron and Giannis are in both in these 2 spots here. But with that said, all of these guys are among the top leading scorers in the NBA. Kemba's not right up there at the upper echelon.
Right, and he's on that team, he's not asked to be a 30-point scorer necessarily. Right. That's not the role you're going to ask Kemba to play on this Boston team. And to me, if he was, that would probably be a bad thing.
But you're rewarding winning here.
I'm rewarding winning, and I'm rewarding him taking the challenge to go to Boston and replace one of the best players in the league and produce in ways that Kyrie simply could not with these same guys.
And scary, too, because a week ago, tonight, Semi Ojeleye nearly derailed that when the two of them collided.
Part of where he is there is a testament to his toughness. The guy comes back after 1 game and goes for 39.
All right, so Kemba into the top 5. In at number 2 this week on the Kia MVP ladder on NBA.com.
This was a hard one. LeBron James is playing well enough to be first on anybody's MVP ladder. I understand that. The Lakers' best 18-game starting franchises. Are you serious? Better than the Showtime Lakers? Better than the Kobe? What? But this is all happening on LeBron's watch. You give him credit, Jared, obviously, for resurrecting himself after the toughest season he's had since he was a youngster in this league. The Lakers look like a championship squad, and as much as it's about Anthony Davis being a next-level talent, it's about LeBron James and leadership and the way he's directing traffic there.
All right, so LeBron at number 2 remains where he was a week ago, which means at number 1 again is the reigning MVP.
Yeah, and listen, the more you dig into what Giannis is doing, they go 7-0 without the only other All-Star on that roster in uniform. I mean, nothing changes. Chris Middleton comes back, Giannis blinks and continues to do what Giannis does. Yeah. He's having an unbelievable encore season. You know, and he told us, I'm going to keep talking about this until we get to this point. He said he doesn't want to be talked about as the MVP until he wins another one. Well, apparently he wants to be talked about the MVP this season. He's playing exactly the way he did last year, and in some respects better when you look at his outside shooting and the way he's aggressive on that end of the floor and in that part of his game.
Well, interesting you say that because I feel like we're going to start to make the comparisons that Giannis is having this year to the year that Steph Curry won his second MVP, because we thought Curry's first MVP, putting up numbers we'd never seen before, historic, this could never ever be equaled, and Curry came back and became a better player. Remember, he was in the conversation for most improved player the year he won unanimous MVP. And that's what's happening with Giannis. He's putting up career numbers across the board.
Yeah, ask yourself, what stopped Steph Curry MVP conversation? The addition of Kevin Durant.
Right.
Giannis has no fear of anybody coming in and surpassing what he's going to do in Milwaukee. Giannis continues to be on this list and in this conversation, Jared, as long as he's in a Bucks uniform and as long as they're playing and operating the way they are right now.
So for the first couple of weeks of the MVP ladder, you were receiving hate mail from Slovenia. Is that correct?
Slovenia and any other offshoot where there are Luka Doncic fans, which is basically the entire world.
I would imagine Canada